All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going head first into the Premier League. Got a big one coming up, Southampton versus Newcastle.
Huge match.
And yeah, I got to say, looking at all the data we've got, things are looking pretty, well, rough for Southampton.
Yeah, you could say that.
Nigh on impossible is how one of the articles put it.
Oof. Not exactly a vote of confidence, is it?
Not really, but hey, that's why we're here, right? To dig into those stats and see if there's anything at all that might give Southampton fans a sliver of hope.
Right. Always got to look for those hidden angles.
Exactly. So to kick things off, let's address the elephant in the room. Expert, give us the lowdown, the cold hard truth about Southampton's current form.
Well, I'll be blunt. It's not pretty. One win in their last 22 games.
Ouch.
That's right. And they're currently bottom of the table, just 6 points.
6 points.
6 points. To give you some context, the only team in Premier League history over a century of football with a worse record at this stage of the season was back in 1902.
1902. I mean, come on, that's like the horse and cart days of football.
Pretty much.
So yeah, not exactly smooth sailing for Southampton. Now, Newcastle, on the other hand, they've been on fire lately. At least they were.
They were. Yeah, until recently they were on a 9-game unbeaten streak.
9 games.
Yep. Longest winning streak in the club's history. And then, bam, that 4-1 loss to Bournemouth.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
Especially at home.
I mean, what happened? Was it just a blip, or is Newcastle starting to crack under pressure?
It's hard to say for sure. Maybe Bournemouth just had their number that day.
It happens.
But you do have to wonder if that loss might have knocked their confidence a bit.
True. But hey, even with that hiccup, they've still been a force to be reckoned with this season.
Absolutely. Especially against teams lower down the table like Southampton.
Right. And speaking of that, I was looking at the data. It's pretty crazy. Newcastle have won every single game against teams currently ranked 15th or lower, except for one draw.
It's a very impressive stat.
It is. So what's the secret to their success? Some sort of magic formula they've concocted?
Well, there's no magic potion, but they do have a very solid tactical approach.
Okay, break it down for us.
They're very disciplined, especially when they're playing away. They're happy to let the other team have possession, soak up the pressure, and then they hit them on the counterattack. Very efficient.
Smart. So it's a mix of, like, tactical discipline and taking advantage of those opportunities.
Exactly. Plus, when you're on a winning streak like they were, there's a certain psychological edge that comes with that.
Yeah, that confidence, that swagger.
Right. And that can be really intimidating for the other team.
Makes sense. Now, Southampton, of course, they're trying to shake things up. They've brought in a new manager, Ivan Juric.
Very interesting appointment.
He's known for his tactical, what's the word, I guess? Like his tactical creativity.
Yeah, he likes his teams to play a high-pressing, attacking style.
Right. But it's been a bit of a rough start for him, hasn't it?
5 losses in 5 games. Not the ideal start, that's for sure.
So is it just a matter of time before he gets them playing his way, or are there, like, deeper issues at play here?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. The players definitely haven't fully adapted to his system yet. And then there's the mental side of things. When you're at the bottom of the table, it's easy to get into a negative spiral.
Right, that doubt can really creep in.
And it seems to be affecting them, especially late in games. They've conceded the most late goals in the league.
Which
means they're letting in goals in the last few minutes of matches. And that's often a sign of a lack of concentration, maybe even a bit of a mental block.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like they're so close to the finish line and then they crumble.
Pretty much. And that can be devastating for a team's morale.
Okay, so we've got the big picture, but let's zoom in a bit. Who are the key players we should be watching in this matchup?
Well, for Southampton, all eyes are on Paul Onuachu, their new striker. He finally scored his first goal in their last match.
Oh, good for him.
Oh,
getting off the mark.
Yeah, and it was interesting because before that, all of their goals had come in the first half of games.
Really? So maybe this is a sign that they're starting to figure things out, finding their rhythm in the second half as well.
It's possible.
And for Newcastle, who should we be keeping an eye on?
Well, you can't talk about Newcastle without mentioning Bruno Guimaraes.
Ah, yes. The engine of their midfield.
Exactly. He controls the tempo, distributes the ball, and he's got a real knack for drawing fouls.
Oh, yeah, I was reading about that. He leads the league in fouls won.
76 fouls.
76. I mean, is he playing football or, like, auditioning for a diving competition?
Well, some might say he goes down a little easily, but you can't argue with his effectiveness. He gets under the skin of opponents, disrupts their rhythm, and creates opportunities for his team.
Okay, fair enough. So, taking all of this into account, what's your prediction for the match? Can Southampton pull off a miracle upset, or is Newcastle going to steamroll them?
Honestly, it's hard to see anything other than a Newcastle win.
Really? You're that confident?
Look at the stats, the momentum, the head-to-head record. It all points in Newcastle's favor.
But you said it yourself. This is football. Anything can happen.
True. But for Southampton to win, they'd need a near-perfect performance. They'd have to be incredibly disciplined defensively, take all their chances, and avoid those mental lapses we talked about.
No pressure, then?
Exactly. Plus, they'd need a bit of luck on their side.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's always a chance.
Well, I guess that's what keeps us coming back, right? The unpredictability of it all.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a fascinating tactical battle. You got Newcastle, likely to sit back and counter, and then Southampton, who might be forced to push forward and take the game to them.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how both managers approach the game.
Yeah. It's not just about the players on the pitch. It's about the minds behind them as well.
That's the beauty of football. It's a mental game as much as it is a physical one.
So if you had to pick one thing, the most intriguing aspect of this matchup, what would it be?
Good question. I think it's the mental battle. Can Southampton overcome their struggles and play with freedom and confidence? Or will Newcastle's winning mentality continue to give them the edge? It'll be a real test of character for both sides.
Very well put. So folks, there you have it. We've looked at the stats, the trends, the key players. It's all pointing towards a Newcastle victory.
But stranger things have happened.
That's true, and that's what makes football so captivating. So for those of you listening at home, here's something to ponder. If Southampton do manage to win, what would that tell us about the power of belief, the unpredictable nature of sports? Let us know your thoughts. Until next time, enjoy the match, and we'll see you on the next Deep Dive.
See you then.